Hello and welcome back to my channel. I've got this MST RRX 2.0 Black Edition. I've had it for about over a year now, and I've had a couple of emails asking about what setup I've got and my configuration and so on. So this video is just all about how my setup, and maybe you can use it on your drift car, which might give you better stability. So let's get started. Right, so like I say, this is for a carpet setup, very similar to this what I've got here. Starting off with the tyres. The tyres are the MST white dot, which is especially designed for the carpet itself. Going on with the offset of your wheels, I did originally start off with +3 offset. I've actually got +5 on these now, front and rear. +3 is good, +5 just gives you a bit more stability. +7 can give you a bit more, but then you start having problems with obviously body shell hitting your wheels, so you need to obviously have a look to see what you can get away with. But definitely +3, if not +5 like I'm running. As I built the car, I just ran off the original spec sheet that you get with the instructions. I will leave this at the end so you can see and pause it and get the same sort of figures that I've got. So obviously the RRX has the MB rear suspension, so there's the active toe. As it squats down, the wheels toe in. But this setup does apply to the RMX as well. My brother-in-law's actually got one, so his is set up exactly the same. Obviously he hasn't got the adaptive rear toe, but the rear suspension, just keep it always as is on the spec sheet. Right, the front suspensions will be the most of the changes. First we want to start off with the front lower arm. The front lower arm, you have a spacer which is bolted between these two parts, which is actually 2mm. Take that out, or at least make it an 8mm. So I've got 8mm spacer between there and there. The RMX, you can get away with the standard length of thread that comes through, but on the RRX, it's actually a little bit too short. So on the instructions, already a 35 M3 by 35mm length, and the RMX has got a 40mm length. So I just went on eBay, bought some cap head bolts. These are actually 50mm, so I've got loads of room, so you won't have any problems with the ball joint coming out at the end. So that's definitely the first thing you want to be able to do, is put 8mm between them two. Then on to camber. The front camber I'm running is actually 13 degrees, so anywhere between 12 and 13 degrees is where you want to be. Looks quite crazy as you look straight on. But if you're making adjustments, get the little Allen key that goes in this little hole at the top, little hole there, and you can always do this for your suspension. If you're adjusting anything, just let that drop down, and then that's locked in your central position. Also, if you're making the adjustments, make sure you've got the battery in there so you've got the correct weight of the car. Obviously you've got your body shell, but hopefully that shouldn't weigh too much. So put that in. The actual length between the top of the arm for the camber, so on mine I've got it set at 11.5mm between the top. All the other pin locations I've actually moved up here. So originally the spec sheet says there, move up one. I'll leave a still copy at the end so you better have a look. And then the bottom for your toe would be 18mm. So 18mm between there and there. And then hopefully once you've set that, you should get a stance that looks like that. The front suspension, at the moment I'm playing around with the RWD front suspension. It's okay. I would actually keep it the standard front springs that you get the MSTs. I actually will be probably going back to them. I'll probably do another video on it, but this is literally just I thought I'd try these progressive springs. They seem to work well, but I think the MST standard ones have just got a little bit more edge on them. But like I say, I'm just playing around to see what they're like. As far as the front servo, I've got a RWD front servo which is programmable. I'm actually amazed how much difference it makes, and I will do another video on that. You can definitely change the characteristic of the feel of the vehicle when drifting, so I do like them, do rate them very well. I actually had to change my gyro over. That'll be related to the servo. I'll explain on another video. As far as the rear suspension, the only main change I've done is on the actual springs. I've actually gone to a harder spring on the back. So these are 32mm thickness springs, and they're actually on the gold. Like I say, they're on the spec sheet, you'll see at the end. That was purely because the original ones didn't have enough, so the back got so heavy with the weight on the back that it was pretty much on the deck. So it needed a bit more of a stronger spring just to hold it and give me ground clearance. Okay, it's on the gearing. I've actually got my spur gear. It's a 71 tooth spur, MST one, and the pinion is a 32 tooth. Just gives you a bit more speed, which I quite like. As far as everything else goes on the back, it's actually standard RRX. I did move some of my electronics more up to the front because I found it, even though the extra weight on the back, it got a bit too much, and I was getting a bit of quite a bit of understeer. So it's just trial and error, however your driving style is, to see what you like. So just play around and move it up. But like I say, on the rear, the camber is set from the same as the book, which I believe it's about 3 degrees, 2 or 3 degrees. But it's exactly as it comes. Same if you've got a RMX, you can leave the rear as it is out the box, or as you set it up. The other main thing, this has obviously got a ball diff because it's the kit version. If you've got, assembly kit. If you've bought an RTR, you'll have a fixed rear diff, so it's definitely worth getting a ball rear differential. Best way of actually trying how tight it is hold one wheel over here, hold between the pinion and the spur, and then turn the other wheel. You should be able to turn it, but it should be quite tight. The thing is, if you get lots of oversteer or understeer, always play around with the rear differential. It's amazing how much fine tuning you can do that to how you like to drive. Just best thing to do is pop this top arm off, pull out the drive shaft, and you can get your Allen key in to undo the ball differential to actually tighten it or loosen it to how you like your driving style. As you can see there, still turning. So like I say, that's my setup I've got. That's where I go to a local drifting club. He was the one that really helped me set it up. I did play around with other different configurations, and I kept having problems with it either really understeering or oversteering, and I could never get it back if I lost the back end or had too much understeer. Now though, I've got loads of angle that even if I go over, I can actually bring it back. So try this setup if you are struggling. It's just something that works for me. It doesn't work for everyone, but this is a good setup to start off with if you're having problems with getting around on carpet. So please check out my other videos. If you see my last video, you'll see this and my brother-in-law's car running around together, set up pretty much the same. His is the RMX, but you'll see they're very similar in style and how they can actually, drive well. But apart from that, that's a good way of getting it set up. If you're struggling, let's go on carpet, because at the box they do work, but you'll find that you'll be twitchy or you won't have enough compensation to get it back if you lose the back end or understeer, whereas this is quite good for everything. Thanks for watching. Right, here's a copy of my setup sheet.